All right, welcome to another episode of Aussies Taking Over the NBA. It is Monday afternoon, Australia Day long weekend, Australia Day holiday.
Australia.
28th of the 1st. We've got some more games to go through today and some interesting information. Obviously, Mitch Creek signing that 10-day. Was that this weekend? It was Saturday, wasn't it? So it was after we recorded last.
Yep.
And then, obviously, he ended up making it onto the court, which was very interesting. Deng Adele. Damn it, Deng misdiagnosis.
Always a deng. There's so many dengs. Just
So many
danging around.
Dengs. Deng Adele obviously playing some more for the Cavs, and then we've got Thon Maker, an interesting revelation in his Bucks career at the moment. He's requesting the possibility of a trade. We'll have a little bit of a talk about that. But as always, we're streaming live, so if you want to come along and say g'day, leave some comments. We'll try and have a look through the stream.
Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. All our pods will be in better quality than what you're hearing on the Facebook live stream.
Yeah.
You can listen to any time, SoundCloud, iTunes, all the good podcasting apps. So make sure you get onto it.
Yes.
Let's start with Thon. That was a bit of a left field kind of throw from Thon, just posting out of nowhere via his agents that he wants out of Milwaukee, who are first currently in the East.
Yeah.
And I understand kind of where he's coming from. I think going into the World Cup, he wants some more minutes. He wants to be there for Australia, but man, you're in a team that could potentially topple Golden State. Don't you want to stay and see out the year?
Yeah, that was my thought. My first thought was, why would you jeopardize the chance to possibly go to the NBA Finals at the end of the season? Obviously, they're first in the East. Did it look to you like maybe some body language stuff or some just general sort of...
I think it's more so the fact that, he had that really good hustle game against the Jazz and then just didn't get rewarded for it. He's just like, I've just won you this game and now you're going to not play me for 2 games.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Brokoff saga. I think Thon's got a little bit more bargaining chips because he's a little bit more established as an NBA identity. But like when you get into that and you've just won them a big game, all your team is like, yep, Thon's awesome. And then you get benched for absolutely no reason other than coach's decision.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, he doesn't really fit into this group scenario for Coach Bud. He's can't really put the ball on the floor. He's more of that hustle grind player. Like post season, he's going to be so valuable for the Bucks. Like they don't realize what they're going to be missing post season because, you saw it. I think yesterday, Giannis getting snuffed a few times. So he's not indestructible.
Was that their game against... They lost that game today, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
I did see the end of that game. Who do they play? I can't think of it off the top of my head. But they did, lose today. I thought maybe in his body language there was a little bit of, how would you say, not playing hard, maybe just kind of upset with his situation and stuff like that, not getting a lot of minutes. But at the same time, I don't know how he as a player in general fits that team and the way they're playing at the moment.
I don't think he does. I think you really need to be somewhat of a ball handle and create your own shot off the dribble.
Yeah.
Because
which I think he's capable of.
I think, but I mean, you got to get minutes. It's one of those things he could be going to a tanking team, be getting some pretty good coin and getting some minutes to build his repertoire and build himself as a player. I just think in this Thon roster, in this Giannis roster, he just doesn't fit that gimmicky kind of like spread the floor and shoot threes kind of player. He is definitely more of your kind of block hunter, grit and grind. Like he worked really good like in a Memphis team, which is grinding on the D.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But a little bit troubling to hear what, obviously we've had the Delhi exit from the Bucks and now, a little bit of trouble in paradise. But...
I wonder, because it came from him specifically saying, I want to leave, like that's a bit worrying as well, because as a franchise, like franchises reward guys that come along through good times, right? So if he was to stay there and possibly pick up a deal at the Bucks, he's going to get rewarded no matter what. You get a chance to work on his game. He's got Sterling Brown, and I think... DJ Wilson, I think, was the other one that's starting to get a few more minutes. They do things a little bit differently. They're a little more compact in terms of how they play the game. But in terms of he's on, what is he on? Restricted free agency, I think next year.
Next year, yeah.
So even that's a bit too early. Like,
yeah,
like
I
relax.
thought, I would have thought maybe just chill out this year.
Ride it all the way, and then maybe in the off season relax and
take the off season to actually improve some of your game as well. It seems like we've seen like the hustle and the drive there at the right minutes, but some of the dribble drive penetrations, some of the perimeter D needs to be worked on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's something that he needs to acknowledge that are weak points of his game. And in the modern NBA, if you're not taking an off season off just to work on a few things, maybe some inside shooting, some rim finishing, then you're not really doing your job. That's your job. The job is to get good in the off season and maintain that level and take that up each off season. He just doesn't seem to have stepped up this season between what he brought to the finals last year.
Yeah.
And again, it's a culture thing. It's a Giannis thing. It's the gimmicky style the Bucks play. But it just doesn't
new
fit.
Coaching staff as well. That's something you've got to sort of factor in, is that he has to fit into a new system, and maybe he thinks that he's not getting the right opportunities to play how he wants to play, but at the same time they're winning a lot of games, so it's not like he can demand that they change the way they play just to fit him. But he kind of physically is stuck between that. I can play as a sort of wispy forward, but at the same time, he's probably not quite quick enough to play as that, like, put the ball on the floor, hustle guard. So maybe the way they're playing has kind of squeezed him into an area where his role doesn't quite fit the franchise, but he feels like he can offer more. Look, if he wants to go out there and try and make a go of it for himself and another team, I kind of respect that at the same time. Like, if he wants to draw the line and say, look, I want to try and do this.
Ballsy.
But still, like,
it's ballsy. Like, you're in a team that is going to make the postseason. Do you really? And you did so well in the postseason last year. And what is this all for? This is all for the postseason.
Yeah,
there's no glory if you just play, for 30 minutes a game all year in the Cavs. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, what's the point of that? You're not improving yourself. You're playing with one of the freakiest players in the NBA at the moment, who's young, who's still growing. You got an array of shooters. You got some good old timers. You want to kind of learn from that and, build your body up and train with Giannis, man. That guy is a freak. Just train with him.
He's got to go on that Giannis Gaines workout, man. I want to see him do the exact same workout as Giannis, because the level that his body has gone to this year. Have you seen?
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Did you see the one where it's when he first entered the league until now? Yeah. Like, he looks like a stick. Like, he looks like Thon Maker. Like,
he does. That's what I mean. Like, get on that.
Yeah, that workout train. But yeah, I look. What destinations off the top of your head do you think
Grizzlies?
Could be a possibility?
I think the Grizzlies. Look, for him, I think it's that style of play that's grit and grind. It's slow. He can work as a stretch 4. He can potentially work as a 5. As we know that Marcus Sol is probably not going to be there come end of the year. I just don't know what you trade him for. Like, what piece do you give up for Thon Maker that is his salary level and his restrictiveness next year? Do you use him in a bargaining chip on like a 3-way deal, or do you trade directly for him for cash consideration? Like, what do you get out of him?
Everything for the Bucks is kind of falling into place too, which makes the timing of this a little bit strange. The other thing too, I wonder if his agent leaked it on behalf of him, or he wants to escalate this stuff and work it out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It still seems like a bit of an odd time for this to come out. But yeah, maybe the Grizzlies, a Mavs team, maybe?
No.
Like something, you got to think maybe on the cusp of the playoffs, because I don't know if he could just go to a playoffs team, like somebody that's I don't think
he could go to a playoffs team. Look, as a stretch 4, you kind of want a team that takes long shot clocks, that slows the play down, that kind of style. Maybe a Jazz.
Yeah.
Maybe a Jazz. I don't know.
Clippers or someone like that, maybe.
Clippers, potentially.
I'm not sure. I'm more sort of wary on behalf of him as to why he's done it this early. Like, another year, like, he's 21.
Restricted free, I think if the writing's on the wall in restricted free agency, where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get a deal next year. I don't trade me there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not.
Because at first I thought this was his last year, and
but it's not.
The last year of his rookie season, but it's next year, like the end of next year. So maybe he thinks that he's not even going to get picked up at the end of this, unless he showcases something more, which is, again, another little worry to sort of throw in there.
I think that postseason, when I think that the teams will have worked out, I just think coming up against Boston, he's done against Boston once before.
Yeah.
You got to come out against Boston, who are the best 3-point perimeter defense team in the league. You know that you got a couple of chub centers in Horford and Baines that can just shut the lane down for Giannis. Couple of good smart defenders in Smart and Morris. Smart defender and Smart.
Yeah.
I would just say, hey, Thon, just stay for the playoffs.
Yeah,
we can talk about this next year, right? We can talk about this in the offseason. Just stay. We need your brand for the playoffs, because if you got these two length, they can potentially shut down the inside game of Boston. And, against the Sixers, you pretty much like for like against Bolden. They look exactly the same. So I don't know. That's just...
I think, it's the other part is maybe he's forcing the Bucks to offer him something and
have a bit of a take it to town, take it to task, make sure that they have that discussion.
They really want him there.
Maybe Coach Bud is just not really feeling it, and it could be a management issue. Who knows?
But we'll keep our eyes on that, because I think it's interesting, because I think he's got a lot to offer the NBA. It's just finding that home. If he really wants the home and not to just tag along with a franchise, I think.
Because he could be one of those players that just tags along with every franchise for the next 10 years. Thon's here this year, Thon's there next year.
Yeah.
But if you want to live the NBA life at a team and become, part of the culture, which I think most players want. I mean, you look at some guys like Corey Brewer, who's been in 7 teams in 10 years.
Yeah.
Philly is so lucky to have picked him up off the back of nothing and what the hustle he's brought. But, he wants a home. He wants to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll follow that pretty closely.
We will. We'll have any updates via Facebook. If we find anything else, remember to like us on Facebook.
Yes.
Peeps. That way you stay up to date with all of our stuff.
Yeah, so the other thing we should go on to is Mitch Creek and his very unglamorous entrance into...
Well, it was the other coach that decided that you shoot those three.
Yeah, he has to shoot those three. That poor bastard, man. He gets on the... finally gets on the bench. He signed that 10-day, obviously Saturday. Same day, he gets onto the roster. I'm sitting there. I was sort of looking at all the scores on my phone, and then I saw he had 2 seconds and 1 point. And it was still 5 minutes to go. And so I'm thinking, oh, sweet. He's getting garbage time. Then the game finished and it still said 2 seconds, 1 point. And I'm thinking, that's a bit weird. What happened there? So it turns out that there was a head collision, and he couldn't shoot the free throws. So the opposition coach gets to choose who shoots the free throws. They chose Mitch Creek. He came out, he bricked the first one, and then he hit the second one, and the Nets bench kind of went crazy, which was good to see.
Yeah, it's good to see, because he's been doing such a good job down in the G League.
Definitely deserved. I think he deserved at least a shot. I mean, 10-day. If you think about a 10-day contract, that's kind of not really anything. A 2-way deal. Okay, that's something. You can go both ways. You're technically guaranteed a roster spot to play in the NBA. But the 10-day is, you got 10 days, and then
it's just hey, we've got an injury. Here's 10 days. The good thing for him is he's got a place to go to. He's not like a Corey Brewer that's not, if he doesn't get that second 10-day contract, then you're just back home twiddling your thumbs kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, he's got that Melbourne Phoenix.
He's got that as well.
Thing on the table.
I don't see any reason why he can't be playing for a Brooklyn team that's chugging home towards the end of the year, and we'll play in the playoffs this year for the first time in a while.
At the moment, they're 6th, 27-23 at the moment.
I just don't see other teams catching up to them. I mean, Magic very inconsistent. Blake Griffin wants out of the Pistons.
Maybe Thon Maker can go to the Pistons.
Hey,
but the Nets,
he'll get paid at least. Come earn $20 million a season.
The Nets. Somebody got injured. They busted their thumb. I can't think of was it LeVert? I think it was. LeVert.
Yeah.
And they obviously traded for Reed as well, which kind of gives him a bit of an opening to slip in there and say, I've got some hustle to get in and give you something on the floor.
I think I think it's the third 10-day contract. They have to turn it to a contract for the rest of the year. So he may get 20 days and have to go down to the G League, but at least my man's getting paid. Hey,
yeah, for sure.
He's getting paid minimum wage, which is $512,000, I think.
Chuff for him to sort of get on the court, even if it was in unglamorous circumstances. He gets on the court and he gets some minutes. just get some points too. That's a lot
get in the
more
team,
than
get to know these guys as well.
some of these other guys. So should we go on to some games?
Firstly, there's been a Deng sighting, a non-trash minute Deng sighting today.
Yeah, he played today.
He played today.
Hit 3 threes or 2 threes?
2 threes.
Yeah.
Non-trash minutes, which is fantastic to see. And yeah, let's get on to some games. I think, where did we leave off?
So Cavs Bulls was the first game up, and it was another loss to the Cavs Bulls, who, funnily enough, played again today.
And there was a bit of another way today where the Cavs got a bit of revenge.
Yeah.
And Delhi shot lights out, but we'll get to that game.
That. Yeah, that's coming up at the end. So this first one was a loss, 104-88 to the Chicago Bulls. Deng Adele got 6 minutes. He got 1 rebound. Delhi had 19 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 6, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. It's not easy watching the Cavs at the moment.
It's a little bit tough watching the Cavs. They just seem to be injury prone. You know, Tristan Thompson was in and out for 2 weeks. They seem not to be able to get anything going.
Heads go down real quick.
Yeah, I think the only bright light for them this year is Chetty Osman seems to be doing a lot better, playing well. A lot of talk of Colin Sexton just being trash. And I was like, well, he's what you got. Just
yeah,
you know,
he hasn't really been trash. Like,
well, if you look at what he could have brought to the team, I think that they thought he would be a bit, you know, for an 8th pick, maybe a little bit better. I think he's a little bit undersized probably for the NBA at this current point for his skill set. He's not a great outside shooter, more of an inside game. So,
but you know, he's not doing too bad in my opinion. I think that's probably more of fans who think that their franchise shouldn't be in this position where they're drafting a rookie and have to rebuild their franchise. And, you know, you have to accept that with the 8th pick, you selected a point guard that you're going to build your franchise around for the next 10 years and you're going to lose a lot of games. You just got to kind of accept that. I don't think they're ready really to accept that. They're fans from what I've sort of seen around the traps.
So they shouldn't, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. It's kind of fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the Mavs at the Bucks? I suppose Thon got 4 minutes in this game. He got an assist. This was probably somewhere where it started to look for me, like this guy doesn't look applied and doesn't look all into it. Like, you know, we just had that chat then about him. Like, I started to sort of notice, like, oh, he looks like upset or something, or he's not feeling it, and his head was dropping a little bit in those minutes he was on.
I think it's just tough to know that every night you're just an afterthought.
Yeah.
You're not bringing. I mean, that must be tough. I think he thinks his role in this team is bigger than what obviously Coach Bud thinks it is. I think after he's put in his postseason last year, he's like, all right, I'm going to get. They can see the hustle. The problem is that this team doesn't really need to hustle.
Nah.
It just needs to stand on the 3-point line and knock down shots and watch Giannis go to work. That's really
pretty
it.
much. You just got to be patient and watch what's happening. Even I feel like Middleton is also in a similar situation where even he, as a pure scorer, has to kind of get out of the way and go, okay, like this guy's going to do everything. That's fine. And even watching his body language, sometimes it looks like I don't fit here. Like I shouldn't be standing here.
Yeah.
But I know in this system I've got to stand here, and I know really I should be standing over there, waiting for something to get a shot from 12 feet. You know.
Yeah.
But that's just not the way this team plays. It's all about Giannis. And some of those guys have to kind of accept that, you know, Antetokounmpo's a freakish player, once-in-a-generation talent. No Brokoff in this game.
You know, I've been watching some of the Mavs groups on Facebook, and even they're just like, just give him a crack. Like, he came on. I think he's not the ego, though. He's just happy just to be getting paid in the NBA, being around a team. But like, he can play some basketball. Get this guy on the floor. I mean, you're trying to get rid of Dennis Smith Jr. We all know that. So you're playing him some nights. You're not playing him other nights. Get Brokoff some minutes. Get rid of Kleber. You know, get some minutes out of Brokoff so he can actually spread the floor and shoot. And it's just not garbage time where he's just hoiking up shots because, it's garbage time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
no Nowitzki at least in this. I kind of feel gypped when Nowitzki's getting minutes, but Brokoff's not getting minutes.
Yeah, but you know, it's the Dirk farewell tour. You just gotta leave it at that. We know that it's going to be happening. Dirk's going to be playing some minutes. Look, he's still got the shot, though. Some of the fadeaway and some of the...
But their shots the Brokoff could be taking.
I realise that. But obviously, they signed him to a guaranteed 2-year deal.
Yeah.
They can't release him, so maybe he's got a bigger picture. Like, I don't think DeAndre Jordan's going to be the next year. Maybe they build a Harden-style team around Luka Doncic, where he just, right, I'm Luka. I am a phenomenal talent. I shoot shots. I get into places, and I spread the ball like Giannis. Because he seems to be able to do that without being Giannis's length as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's really no need for that guy at the dunk spot. I just think that they don't want to shoot threes. They just don't want to be that team.
Well, they don't really have three-point shooters. Who have they got really that's a three-point shooter, knockdown three-point shooter? I mean, Wes Matthews can kind of hit a three at a decent clip. Barnes, he went 0 of 8 in this game. He's not really a catch-and-shoot style player. His role in this offense is more on-ball type of stuff, creating shots off the dribble. And then, Luka is a once-in-a-generation talent. Is kind of the spanner in there that just blows all of their different styles up because of how good
he doesn't fit.
The team doesn't fit around him.
Yeah, it obviously has to be the other way. You need to fit the team around him. There is no denying the fact that he is your franchise player. You hold on to him with everything because youngest player to hit a 30-point triple-double.
Yep. 19
years. LeBron had that record. He's beaten that record by about 200 days. Snubbed for the All-Star game, which I think he probably deserved it more than anyone. Just what he's been
completely snubbed.
First round
starters, yeah.
Starters.
So he can still get picked.
I think he will.
Yeah,
there's no reason why he
has
couldn't
to
pick
get
him.
picked.
He has to get picked.
But if you look down that list, I mean, Wesley Matthews, not a bad three. Brunson can hit a three at a decent clip, but he's not really known to stand in the spot and hit a three.
Yeah.
Kleber can kind of knock down a shot. Powell might be able to knock down 1 or 2 or 3 out of 5s, 3 out of 8 or something like that. And then the rest of the roster is not players where get out of the way, stand in a spot and knock down a shot. It's kind of a collection of different guys that can do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And the franchise or the coaching itself, like it hasn't got to the point where, all right, we need to just give Luka the ball, everyone get out of the way. This is how we're going to play. Because if you did that, there's suddenly 6-7 players on that roster that are just like, well, all right, I'm completely pointless then. Like, I may as well not even play for this franchise anymore.
I think it might get to that point, to be honest with you.
They're probably 2 or 3 years away from that.
Yeah.
I still think, like, you couldn't have drafted Doncic, put him in this team in particular, without having to basically just blow up a bunch of players. Like at an instant, like dropping him in this team, blowing up a bunch of different players. Like it's pointless having Barnes there. Wesley Matthews may as well not be there. DeAndre Jordan, what's the point of him? Brunson's probably a decent guy off the bench. Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell. There's probably no point in having those mobile style guys unless they can shoot the 3 ball better. But they're not like Lopez is like, I'll just shoot from anywhere, whatever. Like that's great. I'll do that. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Like, and then if you want to try that with Nowitzki, there's no point really having him on the floor because defensively, he gets abused.
but it's just all about it's all about his last year.
Yeah, but in a coaching sense, it's this team's 4 years away, and it's obvious now that Doncic is the one. You've just got to now accept that you're 4 years away. Let's start
trading for young pieces because really it's the process. It's Philly all over again, and that's what they need to do.
I don't know. It doesn't even look like they're really into that. You know what I mean? Like with Carlisle, it's kind of like you don't really need Carlisle as a coach if you're going to do that. Like, restructure a lot. Like they're going to
because he's a very tactical coach, and I don't think they need to play high level tactical basketball. I just think they need to get Doncic there, and getting things happening with him. But let's we were robbed of Aussie on Aussie crime that game. Let's get on to the next one.
Heat and Celtics 99-107 win for the Celtics.
Bit of Bainesy, but some terrible minutes.
Yeah. He's still kind of like
still a bit wary.
Yeah, I think the first couple of games he looked like ready to go out of the gate. Like, I'm just going to do everything I'm going to do. But I think in the next couple of games he kind of went, it's probably stupid to just go out there and destroy my hand again. Like, I've got to take a breather and just go, right, I'm not going to just go 100% all night. I'm going to let this heal.
Yeah.
Even though I'm getting minutes. Kind of looked a little bit more passive in this game. Still had 2 blocks and a couple of good blocks. I think that was, one of them was the block, and then he got back up and got pretty much posterized by someone as well. I think he blocked Bam Adebayo, and then someone just came through just absolutely massive.
Yes.
He didn't even care. He went down and just went, whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. I did the first bit, but then no one came and helped with the second.
You'd be surprised how many players would just get the hell away from that and just be like, whoop, yep, you can have that dunk. I'm not going to be on your poster. But not Bainesy, And then obviously Celtics were playing really well. I think they were 8 in a row or 9 in a row or something like that at this point. Starting to really surge back up the standings in the East. They're 30-19 as we are recording at the moment. Kyrie Irving's been playing at a high level as well. Even Smart, Morris, and Tatum have been playing well. Jaylen Brown looks like, why are you even here, mate?
Well, it might as well be Gordon Hayward. That's
yeah,
really...
and even Hayward, and then you're like Hayward. Oh yeah, Hayward kind of looks like, why are you even here, mate? Like,
mate, just get Thon on the team. There we are.
Yeah.
You'll have
be
trade that $32 million contract for Thon Maker, and you'll get exactly the same production out of it. Go to the Celtics, Thon. Are they posterizing for AD? Like I don't know why they're trying to add more talent to the Celtics pool, but they are. So they're posterizing. They're moving for someone. I don't know who it is. AD wants out of New Orleans. That's very clear. I think to see.
But that's so franchise altering. Like really, that is for a franchise how well they're constructed and what they're really building. That's like taking a sledgehammer, AD, bang. Like you're gonna have to get rid of like 2 or 3 of the young guys.
They did something. They did something to Boogie Cousins, and I think that really rubbed AD the wrong way in terms of like blowing up the franchise. I think Boogie wanted to be there and stay there, and they were just like, "Nah, see you later."
Yeah,
and I think that really rubbed AD as like, "Well, how am I going to get a second guy here to help this team move forward?" And in that case, it's just like, well, I've got to go to where someone else is playing. Because I think he wants to leave a legacy. I think that he's now good enough as a player to go, right, this is my legacy. I'm not going to build it here in New Orleans. I need to go somewhere else. Just a question of where they land and who he lands with.
Yeah.
I honestly trade Jimmy Butler.
For AD. How good would that be, AD and Embiid? Oh,
Jesus Christ.
With Ben Simmons and then Jonah Bolden playing some 3 as well. That'd be good, shooting threes.
Yeah.
And being just a huge length guy.
Everyone just could stand with their arms out and nothing would get through the lane, but I think that's a little bit far-fetched.
The 3-point line. Shall we move along to
I think
the Rockets?
This was the greatest flop-on-flop action I have ever seen. Corey Brewer was hilarious.
That was great.
Hilarious. It was so funny to watch. Bolden had some big minutes. That sequence where he blocked...
He got 4 blocks.
4 blocks.
I'm going to go through and I'll find those blocks.
Yeah.
But this in general, this game was high level. Like,
this just shows you what Embiid can do.
Well, how versatile, like how all round of a monster he is. And for a 7, what is he, 7'2"? I think
7'1". 7'1", I think.
For a 7-footer, I think how many other 7-footers in the league can do it at the level that he can do it, really?
I think Jokic is probably the only other one, but I watched Jokic the other day.
Physically, I don't think he's got the same power.
He's not got the same physical... He's big. Like, he carries a lot of weight. He's not got the same stamina. I don't think he chases down on the defense quite as well.
He doesn't have the same physical...
He's not the same two-way player.
He's...
Offense, he sees the floor just as good as Ben Simmons. I'm convinced of that now.
He's more of a guy who has skill and uses his skill.
Crafty European skill.
He's crafty...
Euro ball.
Yeah, well, and then you look at Embiid, like the physical, like when he went down, like I think when he got the tech with Harden, he kind of stepped over him, and Harden went to like shove him, and he didn't move. Like Harden kind of went back like that, and then you just thought, wow, man, how much of a granite block must Embiid be for someone like Harden, who's a keg, to not be able to move him at all? Like it's crazy. Big
dude. In
terms of how Philly played in general. The Rockets have been on a tear, and even I haven't seen a team play against Harden where I've sat there and just gone, Harden looks like he's got nothing in this game. Like, what is going on here? Like, usually in some games where I watched the Orlando game today, where you're just like, yeah, Harden will come along and he'll ice this game. Yeah, here it comes, and then he ices the game, and you're just like, nothing could stop him. But in this Philly game, I was watching this going, even TJ McConnell, like he tried to turn on TJ, and then he ripped him as well low, and they got a fast break. And then he scored over him and tried to do some like, you're too small. And it's like, he just ripped you 3 seckons ago. Like,
I love Corey Brewer, how he started defending him on the floor.
It was like that Dave Chappelle sketch coming up, setting these fruity picks.
Yeah.
Like it was like that, man. He was like doing a little bit of a shuffle.
Just some of the counter flopping from Corey Brewer. It needs to be turned into some sort of Vine. It is fantastic. He's been a revelation as a 10-day contract pickup, especially in a team that's really lacked bench defense.
I'm surprised nobody picked him up, man, because he's still good. And he's
Obviously.
still high IQ, and he's quick off the
He's a pest.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic pest. But look, Embiid was fantastic in this game. Can't say anything more than that. Simmons had a relatively quiet game. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was good on the defensive end tonight. I think they just let Harden, he's going to shoot his threes. He's going to do his dribble drive. Let's just lock down everyone else and no one else gets anything. And that's what happened. They just locked down everyone else and no one else got anything. And they put 2 pests on Harden and it pissed him off.
Yeah, I think I hadn't seen him rattled before. And
He was completely rattled.
Like, this is interesting. Like, Philly, it kind of felt like Harden was starting to take a snapshot of like, do we look like fuckheads acting like this? Like, like what is this? And it's like, yeah, but this is what you guys do every game and how annoying it is. Like, this is why people hate this team. And then it kind of looked like the Rockets were like, fuck, do we really look like this? We look like this is fucking annoying. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, Bolden blocked Harden, it looks like here. And then Rivers got blocked by Redick. That's interesting. I'm just going through here. Bolden got... so Embiid blocked Harden at the end of that first quarter, the second quarter, right at the end.
Yeah.
That was a big sequence, actually. Gordon, 7 foot, blocked by Bolden. I think that's it. So it said 4, but it looks like 3 here. But, man, they all played really well. It was just, I haven't seen a team sort of kind of put the Houston
Rockets
off their
in
game.
its place.
Yeah, that was kind of really good to see.
I think the NBA is one of matchups, and I just don't think with Capella out, there was just nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Fareed was okay, and look, he's not a bad elbow player, but he's just not
Fareed's
anything.
Like you've got to give him 3 or 4 steps to the rim, and that's kind of all he's got. Like he'll hustle,
a little bit elbow, but
it's not like Embiid where Embiid can kind of shoot from 7 to 8 feet.
12 feet, 15 feet. He can spread the floor and shoot threes.
And Fareed's kind of like, you've got to get him going downhill and get him dunking for him to really get high-level looks that get him in the game, get him charged up, get him energized. But yeah, Embiid, he's the real outlier in a performance against a team like that. A 7-footer that can pretty much do anything. And they don't have any they've got Tucker and...
Got a couple of smaller chubs, but that's about it.
So we move on to Portland and Utah.
Yep, a little bit of a chunk for the Jazz. But, I mean, the Trailblazers have been playing very well. Jokic has been... Nurkic.
He played really... He got triple-double in that game.
He's been playing really well. Like, he's been able to step up from last year, and I think that's been the difference for them, obviously, with Lillard and CJ adding that third player that's consistent has helped them, because you really wrote them off at the beginning of the season. You didn't think that they would... I thought that, they got it good enough. They got some depth and some nice players. Seth Curry, obviously, with some good shooting, high percentages. So, look, I understand why they do this. Jingles had a terrible game. This was a 2-pointer.
In this game. But then, if you look at... I'm just trying to get to the box score here. If you look at this game, I'm pretty sure McCollum did nothing in this game. And then you look at that game they played against Philly.
Philly just dropped 40 out of nothing.
Yeah, and he's a guy that...
Yeah, but that's Clay, though. That's Clay as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is a little
They're
bit
just hot and cold. They heat up, but they know when they're timed, and they lock down defense. That's one thing that, Drummond does very well. He knows when he's not shooting well, and he'll just lock down defense. First player in history to be on target to average more rebounds and assists than points in a season.
Draymond. Yeah, but he never scores. And it's like his shots are like, no, yes, if they go in. Like, if they're going in, you're like, don't shoot it. Okay, shoot it. No worries. But once you get over, like, Draymond, I will go through Celtics and
Golden State. That was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Move on. But, Clips and Mavs. Good win for the Mavs. No broke off again. No broke off, but that was good. We shall move on.
Clippers, man, like what's they're just...
Yeah, but they're turd. They were always turd. We always said they were going to be turd. They just finally have realised, we're turd.
Well, they've got hustle.
Gallinari's so slow.
Yeah.
They're such a slow team. Like, Lou Williams is probably their best player, and he's off the bench. First guy in I think 20 years to get a triple-double off the bench as well. Yeah. So that's another bit of NBA fan fact for you.
Patty Mills has got to go for a triple-double off the bench. That'll be good.
He's been playing well. Just the rebounding thing's a little bit hard when you're 6 foot. Celtics and Cavs, easy. Win for
Yeah.
the Cavs?
No. Win
Celts.
for the Celts. So,
I was just like about to
C's.
say.
That should be C's.
Win
Remember
for the Cs.
those shirts from the finals last year? And we thought they said "Cause Chris," and we're like, "What the fuck is "Cause Chris"?" But it meant "See Us Rise." Somebody put one of their shirts. They were wearing one of those shirts at the back, and somebody did it like, "Oh yeah, remember those shirts? Like, what the hell was that? What the hell's "Cause Chris"?" But yeah, that was funny. So Delhi, 17 minutes, 7 points, 2 of 3 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. It's not too bad getting to the line, 2 assists.
Some dang time.
He got a block. He blocked.
Yabuselese.
Yeah,
Yabusele.
Yabusele. Oh, that was so good. Yeah, that was good. Bainesy, 22 minutes, 2 points. I think, 4 fouls. He's had some foul trouble in this.
Probably just a little bit out of touch. Obviously taking a month off.
Yeah. I think it feels like he's trying not to just go nuts. You know what I mean? Like, he knows there's 30 games to go until the finals, and there's no point going in re-injuring his hand and blowing it for his chances to appear.
He knows
in the
that
finals.
Oladipo's gone, so Boston are pretty much a shoe in at 4 spot or 3 spot.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks for them.
It does.
Because he was playing really well. But I think he started this game, 22 minutes, 1 of 4. He's not getting those looks from the 3-point line anymore, really. I don't think he's taken that many. I think that's the Hayward effect, where they've got an extra guy now to take those wing shots, and it's Hayward, and that's kind of why Hayward looks a bit shit. Because Hayward, like, you find just Hayward standing in the corner, just kind of doing these ones, like, oh, yeah, no worries, I'll take a shot. And he's capable of so much more. But then if you look at Kyrie, who didn't play in this game, they're a totally different team without Kyrie there. Like, without Kyrie's magic, they're completely different. Like, it's a totally different team.
They're more that grit and grind team that we saw last year that just locked down perimeter. But when Kyrie's there, it's just kind of like, well, Uncle Drew's going to town. Everyone just get out of our way, fourth quarter.
Yeah, pretty much.
He goes on a tear for at least 5 minutes in 2 quarters, and everyone's just like, oh, yeah, we're not really... We just... Yeah, okay.
Or just, like, it changes the general way they play because of how spectacular his handles are. And when he gets in on roll, you kind of got to give it to him and let him work. It's something that Gordon Hayward isn't... Like, he doesn't get that opportunity. It's like, oh, Hayward's rolling, give him the ball. Like, he doesn't get those opportunities because it just doesn't seem to work out for him.
Does not work.
Moving on to Spurs-Philly.
Spurs-Philly. Great game for Philly. Great win for Philly. Got there in the end, which was good.
That was a high-quality game, actually.
Great game to watch. Paddy played awesome.
Yeah.
17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, +2. Simmons had a great game as well. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists, and 1 steal.
Yeah, man.
Shot 9 of 14. Had some great jumpers in this game too. Bolton had some good minutes, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of blocks.
This was the game on LaMarcus where he shut LaMarcus down. After that sequence, that was pretty much game over. The double block on LaMarcus and then the rundown for the jam. That was it. LaMarcus was pretty much useless in this game.
He's got a bit of an injury. We'll talk about that in the next Spurs game.
Cool. Embiid had 33 points, 19 rebounds. He's just monstering the double-doubles this season. What else? Corey Brewer played really well.
Is he going to get picked up, you reckon?
I think so. They have to pick him up. They've got a free roster spot open. I mean, Jimmy Butler's a bit iffy. Wrist. He's seen the specialist apparently, and it's apparently been all good and should play this week. But he just plugs in. Like, there was no drama. Just plug in. Hey, I'm here to play. You know exactly.
He started this game too, didn't he? I think
he started the last 3 games.
I'm surprised the other teams didn't pick him up because he's a hustle guy. He's still got the speed. Like, you notice that some of these sort of older veteran guys they rely on their skill to fit into a team, but he's still got like off a 2-step. He's still quicker than a lot of people.
And can get to the basket quite easily as well.
And dunk as well, which was good. We'll talk about that in the Denver.
Smacking people in the back of the head. DeRozan had an okay game. Kind of like nerfed a bit on the defensive side. It wasn't very good, but offensively it was good. 26 points. And you know what? Philly were tall. I think the Spurs were up quite a bit towards the end. Yeah. And I think Philly scored the last 16 points or something.
Yeah, I think Spurs didn't score a point in the last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Which
is a bit weird for the Spurs.
It is. I just think that Davis Bertans, which is their highest 3-point shooter, wasn't playing this game, but he's not a big volume anyway. But look, you know, it was a great game to watch. Fun to watch. and would have been good anyway.
Yep.
Move on to Denver and Utah, and I believe this was a win for the Nuggets.
No, it was Utah won that one.
Utah won that one.
Yeah. Because after I turned it on just after Plumlee and Favors got ejected.
Oh, I did see that ejection.
And that was like pretty intense, man. There's some massive dudes going at it. I was like, whew. I'd hate to be security at one of those games. That'd kind of suck. But yeah, they got ejected. I didn't realize what was going on. I just thought they weren't even there and they were playing. The Jazz arena was kind of rocking, and
yeah,
I was like, I didn't understand. And then I think in the fourth quarter they said on the telecast that those guys got ejected, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell again played really well. Rubio I think was back for this one and he played quite well.
Jingles had a good game.
Yep, 14 points, 5 of 12, 4 of 10 from 3. Shot a couple of nice, like off the dribble, he can hit this really sort of slow step back, which is sometimes it gets people because of how slow it is. Like I've noticed like players, like it's not the Harden where he picks up off the dribble and steps sideways. It's he'll just sort of like rock and then back and then shoot. Because he's got that, like, it's like a catapult style.
Yes.
He holds it.
A trebuchet.
Yeah. So he shot a couple of those. He looked really good, actually. When he facilitates and when kind of guys get out of his way, that's where he becomes really, really potent. And, of course, we were talking about on the last episode where he gets to the rim as well. Like now with that lefty scoop, that's kind of, they've added that in. Korver played really well in this game as well, knocking down shots. Royce O'Neal was pretty good. It was good. It was just a good game. The Jazz, if they hadn't have blown all those early games, probably would be a lot higher. That would have been good for my pre-season predictions.
Hey, at least they're going to be up there. They were looking pretty iffy at one stage, but
no
timeline on Exum's return yet, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah, how long?
It was meant to be a month. It was meant to be a month.
Was it foot injury? Ankle? He turned his ankle. Yeah. It's a bit of a worry,
we'll
but
keep up to date.
Taking
with that.
It easy with him, man. Like,
I think Quinn Snyder said this injury is different. You've got your contract. It's just time to heal and get back to the team whenever you need to. You don't have to play through it.
Which he needs that, I think.
Yeah. He's got his 3 years. It's all done. I don't think they're going to trade him as well.
Nah. So the Jazz pretty good. Any other stats in here? Nah. Gobert played quite well. It was interesting seeing Jokic against Gobert. Like in this game, they couldn't really get Gobert out. Like I noticed that Jokic didn't have the speed or the power to get Gobert out from underneath the rim a lot. They kind of were just sitting him there. He shot quite well, Jokic, in this game. He hit a 3 sort of near the end to kind of nearly tie it up or bring him back in, I think. But yeah, it's interesting. He's been playing way better, man. Finishing around the rim has been a lot better. They're looking to get him scores now. Yeah, I think if you're not looking to get him scores, he becomes kind of useless. It becomes a while until he's alive. Like it becomes like each trip down the floor becomes like, oh, if you're not using him, then he kind of becomes a liability. You know?
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily a liability, but like it starts getting to like, why is he even on the floor? There's
why are you here? What are you doing?
Why are you here? We said why are you here? Next game, should move on. Boston was New York, and we already talked about Mitch Creek. We can move on. Miami at Cleveland. Deng Adele, he got 15 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Two rebounds and a steal.
Yep.
That's good.
So that's pretty good, getting those minutes. Delhi had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. That's a little bit more like the Delhi we know on the dish factor, but a good win for the Miami Heat. D Wade, 13 points in his final game. Quicken Loans Arena. Hassan Whiteside, 14 points. Yeah, Whiteside. And Justice Winslow had 27 points. Chetty Osman, this is who I've been raving on about. Scored a career high 29 points. So he's kind of the bright spark in a very, very dark alley for these guys.
Yeah.
I think he is one that you're going to build your team as part of. He has to be there if they're to win any more than 10 games now. Maybe they'll get to 15 games by the end of the season with a few injuries on other teams.
The heady heights of 15
Heady heights. Hey, Philly were there a couple of years ago. Look at them now.
Yeah.
Just tanking for Zion.
Zion. They're right in line. But it's good to see Deng Adele getting minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of standing in the corner, but that's all right. He can knock down that corner 3. And he looks like he fits too. Like he's trying to make things happen. He's trying to make it work, which is really good too.
I think once they get a bit more comfortable with him, they'll give him a lot more. But I think there are some ball hogs in the team. I think the Cavs are one of those teams that very, very low assist. It's kind of like, all right, I've got the ball. I've taken it up. Yep, ISO time.
It's a lot of isolation players there. If you look at Clarkson, Burks
Sexton
as well.
even Sexton's a big
like that.
ISO
Rodney
player.
Hood's like that. They signed Cameron Payne as well. It is the bong water of the NBA. It really is. That roster is just not good. But it's great to see Dengadell and Matthew Dellavedova getting minutes and
big
having
time for the Aussies. Just we're counting down the minutes this year to the World Cup.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a lot of players, man. Like a lot of really good players.
So many good players.
Like Ingles, Brokoff, Exum,
Simmons.
even Simmons and Bolden now's in the picture. Thon Maker can play for Australia.
Bogut, who could probably, you have to put Andrew Bogut in a team. Just the veteran.
I don't know if he starts though.
No, he doesn't start. You put Bainesy in start. At the 5, it's Bainesy and.
But then even Bolden and Thon Maker could start
stretch 4
at 5,
and then you have your fast guards,
and then Nate Jarwai could come off the bench.
Big Nate Jarwai. If anyone in America, look up Big Nate Jarwai.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's a big beast.
The Cairns
plays in the
Shack.
local league here. Hilarious. He did play a couple of games for the
Australia.
Timberwolves.
Oh, for Timberwolves, yeah. Was he drafted? Was he?
I don't know. He wasn't. He was just signed. I think he was signed out of Europe. All right, next game, Milwaukee and Charlotte. No Thon. This was
where he started to go, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah,
and
what's
then
happening?
Pretty much after this game, that was when he requested that trade. Or that's when the revelations broke, basically. But they won this. They were down by at least, I think, about 12, 13 points, the Bucks. Then they just came back and just destroyed
Charlotte. Good Charlotte. Or we could say mediocre Charlotte. That's their band name this year. We're going to do another shout-out, mid-podcast shout-out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. We are live. We are probably going to go live for all our pods now that we've got a good streaming service, and in Australia we've actually got some data now, which has been terrible before this.
It's good.
$100 a month for like 2 gigs of data.
Shout out, leave comments if you're watching down here. Leave some comments.
Chat to us.
We'll
answer questions.
Answer them if you ever leave us questions.
We'll answer some questions about what's going on with the Aussies in the NBA.
Just like this, Nate Jarwai, 2008 NBA draft, second round, 41st picked by the Pacers.
Oh,
there you go, eh? You learn something new every day.
He was picked up in the draft, obviously not by them, but it must have been traded.
I think he was traded to Toronto. It looks like. Rights were traded to Toronto in a deal that it also brought Jermaine O'Neal to Toronto in exchange for TJ Ford, Rasho Nesterovic, Masio Baston, and Roy Hibbert. Wow.
Roy Hibbert.
Outback Shack. I like that. I was trying to find a name to work Shack in. Anyway.
Outback Shack.
Yeah, Outback Shack.
That's a good one. I like that.
I like that.
I like that. All right, let's go to the next game.
Utah, Minnesota.
Yep.
They were up big in the fourth, man. I think it was 95 to 60, 68 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it finished 106, 102. I turned it off and I came back. I was like, 106, 102. Look, what the hell happened, man?
Look, we can say this of the Timberwolves. Andrew Wiggins is the most overpaid, worst player in the NBA, and the stats show it. Lowest mid-range field goal percentage, lowest finishing at the rim. He's just turd. How does that kid get 20? You can understand why Jimmy Butler was pissed being there. I'd be angry too if this idiot was getting $25 million for doing absolutely nothing. But anyway, Karl Anthony Towns is a good player. 33 points, 10 rebounds. Mitchell, 24 points. He's been absolutely killing it. He did this last season as well. He was also 11 assists, which was a career high. It's good to see. Yep. Wiggins scored 21 points on 8 of 16, 26 shooting. There's that 33%.
Hey. Season high 11 rebounds, mate.
Oh, wow. Good times. Good times here. Jingling Joe at 12 points. Played pretty well, but again, it's good to see the Jazz taking out the trash in the Timberwolves. That's are coachless and useless at this point in time. All right, let's move on to the Spurs and the Pelicans. Good win for the Spurs.
Yep.
Patty with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. I don't know what it is against Philly, but everyone who plays Philly puts on their season high. So yeah, we're playing against Philly. Like no one's just trash. Everyone just steps up. Anyway.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no
LaMarcus.
Anthony Davis in this game.
No AD.
Yeah, so I think he got injured in that 76ers game, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Okay.
Bit of a hand injury, and then I think Pop didn't want him to play in this game, but he was like, "No, I'm playing," And then it says here, Popovich said he wanted to rest Aldridge, but because of the injury that he sustained in the loss at Philadelphia, but Aldridge insisted on playing. Yeah, Rudy Gay had 22 points. I think this team really relies on, if Rudy Gay is not playing well, and they can't get anything out of Marcus Aldridge, and then DeRozan can't get anything going, it's kind of like a wipeout.
Yeah, that's when they shoot 80.
Yeah, that's when they get those 96 points games, and you're just like, what? But then, obviously, if those three play really well, and then you get guys like Bertans and then White, and I think Lonnie Walker was back in this game as well, and Bryn Forbes shooting three ball really well, that's when,
That's when shit starts to happen.
But it's kind of like up and down.
It is. Big shout out as well to Jahlil Okafor, who is taking a bit of a second chance at this.
Yeah.
He's been playing really well last couple of games, defensively and offensively for New Orleans. Starting center once AD leaves, I suppose.
Yeah. He got injured really early in the season. He twisted his ankle, rolled his ankle in one of the really early games. Sucks for him. But yeah, I don't think Randall played. I think Randall's got a sore knee as well for the Pelicans. They're just,
Pelicans.
I said at the start of the season, I think it would be really quickly, if it goes south, it's going to just be the Anthony Davis. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. Take it easy, everyone. I'm out of here. Which sucks, man. Drew Holiday, but still playing. If Holiday could go to a team that was, a high seed, he'd be fantastic for one of these teams, man. I don't know which team could fit him or who'd have him. Like Toronto, maybe. Imagine Toronto with Kawhi and Drew Holiday or something like that. Yeah,
Kawhi, they still reckon Kawhi won't be there next year, which is a shame because you're going to have to rebuild your franchise because you're going to have an aging Kyle Lowry, an aging Serge Ibaka, and that's about it. The team seems to be Kawhi at the moment.
Like Siakam and
Siakam's great. And he's been a great pickup, but yeah.
They've had a lot of their young guys come through too.
Yeah.
They're kind of at a tip. They were chugging along with DeRozan and Lowry for so long that it was masking a lot of these. Like they were able to bring guys through. They signed Ibaka and they had Biyombo, I think, a while back, and then they ended up trading him. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to mature and flower soon, but if they don't keep Kawhi, it's going to be
hell.
Yeah,
hell on earth. Let's move on to I think the game of the round. Ben can attest to this.
Yeah,
this was a good game. And it was Golden State Warriors at Boston, and I believe Kevin Durant afterwards said that they haven't played a team like Boston.
Nah, they've just got so many defensive weapons. The Celtics. This was like one of the first times where you see the Warriors come up against a team where it's like it's a mirror. Like every matchup's the same. Every matchup is really tight. But it's also where you see the force of the late Uncle Drew is really different, because in this game, like Uncle Drew was doing these like crazy handles. I think he had about 4 or 5 really crazy baskets, and then the Warriors would go down the other end and just get an easy bucket, and you just think how taxing must it be having Uncle Drew just go full on Uncle Drew diving into the stands off made layups, like to then just go down the other end and Clay just wide open shoots his 3, and you're like, oh, it must be so taxing.
You can understand why he's frustrated with some of the younger players.
Yeah. But it's just like,
part
it's
of
a self-fulfilling obituary, really, because he needs to do that in order to score the ball. He needs to do all these things, but at the same time, it's kind of everyone has to get out of his way for him to do that. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling obituary. Curry played really well in this game as well, and then he didn't have a shot in the second half, and they ended up winning. So you know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to do that to make your team win. Like, you can facilitate, you can do other things, but in terms of the shooting, like Al Horford actually played really well in this game as well. Bainesy had some foul trouble. I think it's kind of obvious in a game like this where Bainesy comes out, tries to hustle. It's like, you know,
it's just they're too intelligent to do that, especially when you're getting bang guys, Boogie and Green.
Yeah, poor Boogie Cousins. He played really well in this game. He just got 3 or 4 like just really bad foul calls that weren't fouls, and you're just like, and he gets in his own head. But man, when it's amazing to see, because you having watched this team in the last 3 years with Durant, all of the plays with Durant sort of on the left block where everyone gets out of his way and he just goes to work. It's like you just stick Boogie there now. And suddenly it's like, oh shit, there's 3 options now. Like Durant couldn't really go baseline and get to the hoop. Like sometimes he would, but usually he'd get fouled and it's not high percentage. Now Boogie goes baseline, just barges 3 guys out of the way. He's a willing passer. It's like, oh, it's fucking dangerous. Like it's just another weapon that just completely opens up the entire floor.
I don't see them. I see them another championship this year, but you know what?
You never know.
I think it'll blow up in free agency next year. And I thought we thought this year that this would be the interesting year, but I think next year it's going to blow up in free agency.
I wasn't sure what Cousins would be, but I'm surprised with how good he's looked. But at the same time, I'm still sitting there just thinking, like, touch wood, man. This one other, like, his Achilles could go at any minute. You just never know.
Heavy dude.
But Looney's been playing pretty well too, so that's pretty good. Draymond with the clutch free throw miss too at the end. That was pretty good. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Missed both free throws, get the rebound, toss it to Steph for the game to ice the game. It was pretty good. But yeah, both teams played just top level, top notch, high level basketball.
Yeah.
It was really, really good to see.
Game of the round. We'll go to the last game on our list, I believe.
Philly, Denver.
Now, I have to put a big disclaimer in here. This was a trash Philly team. No Embiid, no Butler. It was Simmons playing small forward.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot a 3. It was a half-court pike with 2 seconds left.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Didn't shoot a 3.
Cleaning
and
the glass.
literally, it hit the glass with such force that it bounced all the way back. It wasn't even a shot. It was a pass that arced at flat at the rim, and Putlers was like, okay, this is why he can't shoot 3s. But
there goes down. He's none of one for the season.
Philly held it to Denver until the end. They just didn't have a matchup for Jokic. They didn't have the big guy at the 5. They needed Embiid. Embiid was there, it changes the game. They didn't even need Butler. Embiid's there, it changes the game. It facilitates a little bit differently. TJ had an off night. A lot of the guys haven't had an off night. Redick and Brewer played really well. Simmons kind of had a bit of an off night, but he wasn't facilitating. This is the issue. You got to get him in the facilitation spot. They had TJ facilitating most of the game, and that didn't work. And TJ's mid-range was a little bit off. He had a bad night, whatever. It's fine.
That happens.
They threw this game away when they rested Embiid.
Yeah, because I would have loved to have seen Embiid on Jokic.
Yeah, well, they're playing in a week and a half back in Philly, so this is going to be
that'd be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. But yeah, that was the end of the game. Ben Simmons had 19 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Again, very little facilitation.
No Chandler and Butler as well.
No Chandler. So it was just like, it was pretty much a depleted Sixers outfit.
Philly G League team.
Yeah, look, Shake Milton played really well. I'm a big fan of Shake Milton, actually.
Yeah.
6'3", good shooting guard, hits at a high clip. I think he'll fit in. And Landry Shamet. Can't sing his praise high enough.
Yeah. He's fast, man.
He's quick,
So
and he can shoot off the dribble, and he can actually hold the ball. Like he's actually got good handles.
It's kind of like Fultz, where you just see now, like, oops, Fultz. Like,
yeah, we don't really need him, man.
Yeah, which sucks.
Trade him.
I like him. I like Fultz, but
I like Fultz. Look, if he ever came back to what he was, the league will blow up. It was so amazing playing for Washington State, but just not doing.
But you can see what Shamet does with no pressure on him. He just, fits the team way better. He's like a Redick clone, basically.
Yeah, mini Redick.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, yeah, let's
we'll wrap it up. Yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment, like us on Facebook.
We're back up to date as well.
Back up to date with all the games. All-Star break coming up. We're going to do the last under and overs edition.
Yeah, before the end of the season.
For the end of the season. And we'll keep it at that.
Yep.
You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Addict, Millerman, all your podcasting apps, as well as YouTube.
Yep.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you very soon.
All right, take it easy, everyone. Peeps. Peace.